and welcome to Dialogue Options, our now fortnightly video discussion. This week we're going to be talking about features that all games should have. So if we get straight into it, Rach, do you want to kick us off with one of your suggestions?
Yes, my suggestion is that you should always be able to have a pet stroke animal companion. Just because I think it really grounds you in the world. It gives you, something to care about. It's nice to see a little friendly face. They're a lot less complicated to have than human companions in games that always either start repeating their banter lines at you or are just generally annoying. Just every time there's a game where I've been able to sort of have some sort of companion, it's one of my highlights. So, like in the Far Cry games where you could have Cheeseburger the bear, obviously the classic is, the Fable dog, Fallout's dog meat. Just, it doesn't even have to be one that can sort of be useful in any way or go off on any big adventures with you. Even if it's just something that hangs around your sort of home base area. It just makes the world feel more real, and it's exactly what I would do if I was a magical warrior or a witcher or a caveman or surviving a cult. The first thing I would be is where can I get me a little puppy? So it just always becomes really important to me in games. I just played Ghost of Tsushima is probably the biggest thing I've played recently, and even in that, I got very, very attached to my horse, which you could argue is a vehicle rather than a pet, but they had loads of lovely little animations, whether you're kind of napping with your horse and the horse would nudge you and things like that. So any sort of game where you can have a pet or animal companion, I feel I don't understand why developers aren't just throwing it into every game at this point. It's always a winner. You're going to get loads of love on social media. People are going to get obsessed with it. Just throw it in. Just, add it in.
I feel I have a theory that games are now starting to include dogs more just so they can be on that Can You Pet the Dog Twitter account. Because I feel especially if you've got a small game, just having the promo of you can pet the dog, that must do wonders for just marketing that game.
Oh, it's got to.
I was wondering though,
well, no one's going to be mad about it.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Is it's not going to make a game worse for anyone having a dog. So
yeah.
But so do you count horses? Because you mentioned Witcher and Geralt, just all of his horses have the same name, so it's very he's very detached to an extent from that horse.
I know, but I think Roach does have her own personality. There's especially there's the DLC where you could end up talking to them. So I would count Roach. I would count the horse in Ghost of Tsushima as definitely. I mean, you can't pet Roach though. I feel you need to be able to pet them.
Yeah, and give him a little brush.
Yeah,
you need to be able to have some sort of interaction. So Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Online, you can actually have a camp dog, but Red Dead Redemption, you can brush your horse and pet it and whisper sweet nothings to it, so that definitely counts. Roach is probably a borderline pet stroke animal companion. What do you think, Alyssa? You're a Witcher diehard. Would you consider Roach a pet, or is Roach a...
Roach is a car. Because Roach, you can't do anything but whistle for Roach and then get on Roach, and Roach is a very glitchy car that I care a lot about. But yeah, if you could have even the tiniest little interaction, because if you don't play the DLC or if you don't get far enough along in it, you don't even know that Roach speaks.
I think it's the fact that it's the same, that he always calls it the same name. It's you both have pets. I mean, Alyssa, we can see one of yours in the background. If you had 10 cats and they all had the same name, not even the second, the third, the fourth, senior, junior. If it was just Rach, if you just had 5 Batmans, we'd be could you just name it something else? It doesn't make any sense. I think that's
you're right.
Yeah, it's weird that he does that. That makes me think it's just a vehicle, because like a car.
It's just very Geralt. He's just it's Roach.
Yeah.
Very emotionally repressed.
For me, it's being able to skip cutscenes And it's more of a personal, I mean, as these would be, issue, because one of the first games that I played obsessively and all the way through when I was a kid were the Kingdom Hearts games. And there's really difficult fight on the Tarzan planet between like Clayton and this like giant chameleon lizard thing. And I kept dying, and the old Kingdom Hearts, you couldn't skip the cutscene. So you couldn't skip the cutscene that led into this fight, and I would just continuously die. And then the cutscene was this bit where Tarzan is telling you that it's not Clayton anymore. He's a Heartless, but like he's doing weird Tarzan speak. So he just goes like, he, who, ha, ha, he, not Clayton. And I heard it like 40 times when I was a kid, and to the point where like me and my sister would say it at the dinner table, because it was just like burned into our heads. And if I can't skip a cutscene, especially if I'm replaying something, I just end up like getting frustrated with it. Like I don't want to skip it on the first playthrough, but if I have to die and watch the cutscene again, or like even what happens when like, I think it happens in Sekiro, because Patrick plays Sekiro, my partner, and it's like, he would die and then he would go back into this bit and have to like watch the cutscene that showed you the bad guy again. And it's just like, it makes you even angrier. And I think it makes you less likely to actually defeat the thing that keeps causing you to see the cutscene again.
It's real bad in games like that that are known for how difficult they are, because you just want to keep trying again, especially if you're in a zone. You're like, okay, this time it's going to happen. I'm going to do it this time. And then you have to break it up with the little like them coming out and beating their chest and throwing something before you can do it again. And also I played Kingdom Hearts when I was too young to be. I was awful at it. I was just too young to play it, and no one told me that, and so I died all the time. And I feel your pain with that one in particular.
It was the worst thing. I think it's psychological torture at a certain point.
Yeah, I think you're right as well, because it just gets you get so frustrated that then you like, by the time that the fight starts again, or whichever, bit comes after the cutscene, you're sort of so frustrated that you're kind of angry and you can't focus. And because I agree that there's been so many games, and you're just like, the worst ones are where it's a lot of dialogue, so you can't even, it's not even just kind of that you can wander away, so you're just like banging X to try and get it to like go through all the dialogue faster. Like no, I totally agree. I do feel like games are better now about just letting people skip things. I feel like when they don't now, it's kind of a deliberate choice, and it'll be like, Kojima or someone that is really kind of worried about you getting the kind of emotional resonance of the story. But I think most games now are just like, all right, there's some people that just don't care, and you can fly through them really fast.
I have a bad habit of doing that, especially like if the dialogue shows up on the bottom. I'm just like, I've read it, and I'm trying to skim through it so I don't have to hear it getting acted out, which is really terrible, and I'm sorry for people who do that as a living.
Well, then you get that as well. Then you get like, they've just are saying the first like 3 words, so it's like, if you go, and then she said mountain.
A feature that I think all games should have, especially open world games, anything where you can take the character, on all sorts of different missions, is just a bed or any kind of home hub that you can return to. Aside from the fact that I just like to be able to have this place to break to in between missions, and most games are doing some pretty intense stuff. It's nice to just have somewhere to cool down a little bit. It sometimes takes me out of it when I realise that my character has not slept for almost sometimes the entirety of the game. Like I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn not too long ago, and there's a bit quite close to the end where before like the big battle, someone says that she should get some sleep, and I know, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly sure that's the only time anyone ever mentions sleeping to her in the entire game. And I don't know how many missions she does, but it's 40 real-time hours, so who knows how long that's supposed to be in game, and she just has not slept, and she looks fantastic the entire time. But that's not the point. It's the point that she needs some sleep. It just doesn't make any sense.
I would love it if characters were like more concerned about like, dude, like you've been hitting those potions pretty hard, and all you've eaten is an apple in the last 6 hours, and when was the last time you got a good night's sleep? I would really love it if like self-care became a thing. But yeah, I love it when you can do, even in the slightest way, you can like customize that home base as well. Like things you pick up appear in the base, or I really like having a kind of safe space in games that's not in a kind of, you know, woke way, but in a just like literally a safe room that where nothing can get you, that you can go and like fiddle with your inventory or whatever. I definitely am pro that as a feature. Another feature I wanted to mention that I think all games should have, and this is a plea, but it's so tiny and boring and pedantic that I didn't want to make it my main one, is if I'm playing any sort of like shooter type adventure, just let me pick up that, like just automatically pick up the ammo. There is never a scenario where I don't want to pick up the ammo. Like I don't, you know, or the health, or the like the fact that some games make you do it like as a choice, and it's like, and those games often they don't even have a limited inventory, but it's they want you to make the decision of like, I am picking up these 3 shotgun bullets. No, just pick them, just make me a magnet, just suck them into me. I don't want to have to run around the battlefield like making sure I've picked up every stray bullet. Just let me just magnet it to me.
I have a backup one I forgot to say, and Rachel, you made me think of it. I think that you should be able in every shooter to have third person and first person view, because when you play Apex, you get these really cool skins, but like you can't see them ever. Yeah. Unless you go like briefly into like a third, so it's just kind of like annoying, because I have really, really, really cool skins that I've like done a lot of annoying stuff to get, and like opened up a million loot ticks, and then like I have this dope like Egyptian sun god Ra skin on one of them, and like I can see the hand of it. Yeah. I just want to be able to see the whole thing. Like, I mean, Fortnite does it so you can see the whole thing. I think that's just egregious, because I've seen the butts on those characters, and that is fully just so you can see butt. But like, you should be able to go back and forth, even if I don't want to play the whole, because I would prefer to play in first person. Even if I don't want to play the game in third person, just want to be able to like switch to it once in a while, so I can be like, look at that outfit. It's just weird when you have a game that's like got microtransactions and you have to open up loot boxes to get cool skins, and then you can't see them. You just made me realize.
Like I've been working towards this one skin I really want in Warzone, where the woman has like this short silver hair and these really cool leggings, and you just made me realize that other than the loading screen before you go into the game, it literally never benefits me. It's just for other people to see that I have a cool haircut.
Or when you're in the plane really quickly in Warzone, you see everybody, but if you're not the squad leader, you're in the back. So you're just kind of like, this much is shown. That you're talking about that Iskra skin. I dig that Iskra skin.
Yeah, that's the one.
They've also got a really cool one where they have a black female operative, and she's got like a little 70s baby fro.
She's the operator I play as, and someone had that the other day, and I almost felt bad for killing them because it's the coolest. Oh, it's so cool. But I play as her, and again, I'm like, I want that skin, but you know, I'll get it and then I'll never see it again. So
yeah, pretty far along on the battle pass too. Like, you're gonna have to go in there and get it.
Well, thanks for chatting with me today, guys. This has been you've given me a lot of suggestions that I didn't even think of, and now I'm never going to be able to play a game again without wishing all of those things were possible. But if you have any suggestions for features that you think all games should have, then leave those in the comments below. Come back again, well, we're fortnightly now, so come back again in 2 weeks for the next one. Subscribe, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.